Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another Arrow review, this time episode 19, The Man Under the Hood. So, the episode already starts off with quite a fun scene as we have them doing a heist where they blow up a building. Which was a fun scene with everyone there, including Felicity, and we get some continuity because they're using the skeleton key which Clock King was after, or had, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's what Slade ends up stealing. But we'll worry about that in a minute. But the other part is this episode also picks up where last one ended, with Laurel knowing that Oliver is the vigilante. But what I like is she doesn't immediately leap to it. We see her figuring it out and putting all the pieces together.
Well, yeah, just because someone told her that, she's not going to completely believe it.
No, but it pushes her in that direction and she figures it out, which is such a good scene. I love all the Laurel stuff. And yes, an episode where I'm actually enjoying the Laurel plot. Who would have known?
Yep.
But yeah, that was, it was enjoyable seeing Laurel put all the pieces together, and we get like flashbacks to when she was seeing Oliver and Sarah's scars, and we also get a really good Quentin scene, because obviously Quentin's still in jail, but we get a really good Quentin scene where Laurel tells him she knows, and he doesn't want to know, and he now. I love how much respect and understanding he has.
Yeah, it's great.
That was such a good scene where he just shows how much understanding and how much respect he's got. Last season 1 he was against the vigilante. Now he respects him. This to me is one of the best Quentin moments, at least for a while. He flip flopped here and there, but this was a good Quentin moment. But getting back to the Slade plot, after he fails. After they blow up the building and Slade uses a skeleton key, he breaks into a different laboratory, a star laboratory.
Yeah.
Alright, we get to meet 2 new characters.
But not new to us, because we've seen
No,
that
but
stuff.
remember, this is new characters for the Arrowverse, Cisco and Caitlin.
Cisco is awesome.
It's pretty flat out obvious that these are Flash characters. But
they talk about Barry.
We get some more foreshadowing about Barry and reminding us he's still in a coma. And obviously we know a Flash show is coming up, which very soon. We're getting very close.
And I like that Diggle was there, and then Felicity had to explain to him that, he got moved to Star Labs and they're taking care of him.
Yeah, because remember, we know all this because we've seen the Flash, but if you're watching this in order like we are, this is the order you get. This is how you find out about all this. And it's so cool to watch it play out like this. We also get a little bit of references to a character named Iris, which we'll get into eventually. But it was just fun to see Cisco, and they got to have a bit of action, because, we don't just get Cisco and Caitlin, but they get to have some action when Deathstroke shows up and tries to kill them. And for about 3 seconds, it turns into a sci-fi show when Cisco picks up a big gun.
Speaking of which, that equipment was used by Arthur Light.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. I was trying to figure out whether or not that was related to the Dr. Light that we know of. And yes, in the comics, Arthur Light is Dr. Light. However, as we know...
Yeah, we'll get to that. We've had a bunch of Dr. Lights, but we'll get to them. But... yeah, it was just really fun seeing Cisco and Caitlin, and they are actually and it's not the end of Star Labs, because Star Labs will be working on the Mirakuru cure, which we'll get into in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but still, like I said, it was just fun seeing Caitlin and Cisco in the action, and yeah, it's just nice having all this foreshadowing of a show when we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, they're already acting like themselves, like... when they were talking about how it was an accident, and Cisco tells Caitlin to tell herself that.
I know.
Clearly she feels guilty.
I know, which I love, because it sets up something for Caitlin, which it's just an aside line, but if you rewatch it like we are, if you're rewatching after seeing The Flash, that line makes more sense, and it's so good.
Yes.
I like I said, I just love how well they're planning this. They do this with the spin-off shows. We'll get to that again when they start setting up stuff for Legends. But for now, they're setting up The Flash so well. And, I suppose that's pretty much it. But it was fun just to see them there.
Yeah, it was
Fun
great.
and apparently this was the first time Carlos Valdez had done anything on TV.
Mm.
The Arrowverse is his first stuff, which means this appearance was the first thing he's ever done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I want to call back to the Barry episode for a minute, because I said something I'd eventually bring up, and I knew I'd bring it up here, is I said originally they weren't going to give Flash a full pilot, and Barry was going to wake up in an Arrow episode. This is where he would have woken up. I don't know how it would have played out, but apparently they wanted him to wake up here, but eventually they decided we're going to give Flash a proper full pilot. So they decided we'll put some more foreshadowing and have Cisco and Caitlin show up, since obviously by this point, they've obviously got all the casting, or at least most of the casting, down.
Yeah, we had plenty of mentions of Harrison Wells, but we didn't see him.
That's true, yeah. I mean, we've mentioned Harrison Wells before on the Accelerator, but it's just nice to be continuing this plot and remember, if you've seen it before, just to remember all this background plot of the Particle Accelerator has been happening the whole time throughout the season. Think about it. Barry's been in a coma ever since that episode, and he still is. But enough about Cisco. They aren't the focus. I mean, yes, Cisco and Caitlin is great. They're not the focus. It's just a really fun scene. But we did mention a Mirakuru cure, so we'll talk about the flashbacks where it turns out there is a Mirakuru cure, as we said, which... Try saying Mirakuru cure 5 times fast.
Mirakuru cure, Mirakuru cure, Mirakuru cure.
Yeah, okay, stop. But we also... Okay, so... Good news, Ivo's dead.
Yep.
He deserved it. Shadow's dead, Ivo's dead, we get some good Anatoly scenes. That's about it. But the most important thing is we learn there's a cure for Mirakuru, which... Why would you make a cure for something that is supposed to be a miracle cure?
Yeah, it was supposed to help everybody and make everyone better.
So why would you make something that could reverse it unless you knew it would have horrible effects? I don't get that, but whatever.
It's always good to have some sort of failsafe.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense, but it's not a huge... it's not like a problem that's going to annoy me, but it's just an odd thing to think about. But, okay, let's get back to the rest of the episode. Obviously... We pick, with the Slade plot, we pick up where we said last time with him building an army where now he's going to inject all those prisoners with Mirakuru, which he doesn't get from himself, he gets from Roy, who was kidnapped, because at the end of the last episode, he drove away from Starling City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit we didn't really talk about in the last episode, but it did happen. The other bit is, I suppose, we do continue a little bit more information on what happened with Isabella Rochev, because apparently she was involved with Robert, and Robert has always known about Thea.
I mean, I don't get why Thea didn't care about that. It's a nice thing to hear, to say, yeah, he knew you weren't biologically his, but he still loved you.
Yeah. I know, it is a bit of an odd thing, but Thea's just being moody. Oh well, she flip-flopped, but we're building some really enjoyable Thea stuff very soon.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there.
This episode had a lot of good moments. It's not a huge, crazy episode. But we did get some good fight scenes. I have to call credit to the fight scene where Slade was in the base, the Arrow Cave.
Yeah.
That was a good fight scene, like seeing Diggle, Sarah, and Oliver all going against him. But, it was just, for him, it was just a distraction. But it was still a really good fight scene. Not a huge one, but a fun one.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. There were a lot of fun scenes. Quentin had some good scenes. It's good seeing some Flash foreshadowing. And I think that's pretty much it. This episode, we are only 4 episodes away. These last few episodes, obviously, everything's just build-up. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there are no villains except Slade now, or anyone working for him. There's no one-off or filler villains. It's all about Slade, which I like. When you get this far into a season, you don't want to waste time with a side villain. Because I remember, I think it was even the third last episode of Arrow of season 1 still had, that guy who was trying to kill the kid or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whereas here it's just Slade all the time. But all in all, not a giant episode, but again, another episode with so many good scenes. You can't deny it. We enjoyed that Cisco scene a lot. I don't know why we needed to talk about it, but it's just cool how much they set up the Flash.
Yeah, I guess I'll go as high as 6.5. I don't know how to explain why, but I just didn't enjoy it too much.
Yeah, the problem, it's very tricky to rate episodes which are focused on build-up.
Yeah.
Because it's exciting, but it's exciting because you're waiting for what comes next or what you know comes next.
Yeah, it has a few good moments, but...
Yeah, I enjoyed the Laurel stuff. Not something you'll hear me say much. I enjoyed Quentin had a good moment. Cisco was fun, and we're building up to a lot, but it wasn't too crazy either. So I'm gonna give it another 7.5.
Yeah, I'll stick with 6.5.
6.5. She won't be saying that in many times when there's a Cisco appearance, but we'll see if...
Every episode of Flash will just be 10 for Cisco.
Oh, trust me, it won't be. There's plenty There's plenty of bad Flash episodes, but we'll see if your average ratings for Flash are higher than Arrow.
Probably.
Especially early on, but enough about Flash, even though this episode did mention it. The next episode is episode 20, Seeing Red. Not the Flash.
Aww.
And not the Supergirl episode called Seeing Red.
Oh.
But I remember quite a bit of what happened.
And you said they can't repeat episode names.
They've repeated a lot of episode names in the Arrowverse, just not in the same show. Like I said, there was a Supergirl episode called Tremors, and we had an episode called Tremors.
Okay.
We've had, 3 of the Arrowverse shows have used the word Fallout as an episode name.
Oh.
I know an Arrow episode called it. I know
Flash
has one, and I know a Legends one has one.
I don't remember the
Legends one. I think it might have been Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
And I know there's 2 different shows which use the name Dangerous Liaisons. I don't know why they like reusing episode names. But enough about episode names. The next episode name is Seeing Red, the 20th episode. I remember quite a lot of big stuff happening next time.
And as usual, I have no memory.
That's okay. That's good. You're more of the blind participant. And if you like blind participants, I'd like to remind you that neither of us have really seen any of Constantine, and we'll be watching that eventually. You have never seen all of Titans or much of Doom Patrol or much of Black Lightning or pretty much any of Batwoman. There's a lot of shows which will be completely blind for you.
Mm-hmm. Plus, at one point, Arrow will get blind.
That's true. I think around season 4, you don't know much other than general plot points.
Mm.
So, and even then, Arrow's still pretty blind because you don't remember much.
Yeah.
But enough about that. We will see you next time for episode 20. Seeing Red is next time.